The primary ballot continued to evolve this week as Doug Robinson was ruled eligible for the GOP gubernatorial race, while the Colorado Supreme Court ruled that U.S. Representative Doug Lamborn did not qualify for the GOP primary in CD5. Lamborn is appealing the ruling to a federal court whose decision may impact a Colorado law requiring those who gather petition signatures to be Colorado residents. David, what did you think of Representative Lamborn's legal move going to a federal court?
Well, he's not the first incumbent U.S. representative who's failed to qualify for the ballot with a petition snafu, but it doesn't speak well of planning overall. The case of Meyer v. Grant, the U.S. Supreme Court on ballot issue petitions said that it struck down a lot of Colorado rules about petition gatherers, but it said it's okay to require that the petition gatherers be residents, partly because it's easier to have them around to enforce the laws about petition gatherers instead of being transients who go from state to state. And sometimes they get around that by temporarily establishing residence in a motel or something. So it seems uphill legally, but there have been lots of federal court cases where Colorado election laws have been ruled unconstitutional, so you can't discount Lamborn's chance of winning completely. He can also, at the end of the day, run as a write-in, and there are 4 other opponents on the ballot. So if it was just Lamborn versus one other guy, then maybe he wouldn't be able to make it. But if you split the opposition 4 ways and he can get 32% as a write-in, I think he still has a fighting chance.
Penn, you have run for office, maybe not, I don't think, for Congress
haven't run for Congress.
But you have been in the shoes of needing to get onto ballots and what goes into it, and also the strategy that David just mentioned. What is Lamborn's next best move, considering the primary is only a few weeks away? June 26th is Election Day.
Lamborn's got an uphill struggle here. He may go to court. He might or might not prevail. But what he's done is, for those who are already on the primary ballot, he's given them the perfect platform and issue to run on. And it's basically, you've got a 6-term congressman who people are so dissatisfied with him, he can't get enough signatures to keep his own seat. And I don't know why he didn't go the assembly path also. That would have seemed a slam dunk for him to go to the CD assembly and become the nominee there. But even that didn't happen. So if you're Owen Hill, if you're Darrell Glenn, if you're any of the other folks, you've just got to be grinning, because you've got the incumbent, and you could argue he was so inattentive to the district and to his own reelection efforts that he's not qualified to be on the ballot. Do you really want this person representing you in Congress? He may win, he may get this overturned, but I think he's got an uphill sled. And if he runs as a write-in, I think he's done, because the standard for the write-in candidate is so difficult. First of all, everybody's got to remember who you are. And that's tough enough, because even with some Congress people who are in good standing, a lot of voters don't know who you are. So they've got to remember who you are. Then they've got to put your name correctly on the ballot, or close enough so that it's counted. And if there are some errors with that, the ballot is spoiled. You're not going to get that vote. So he's in a tough spot now.
Ross, is it too hard to get on the ballot in Colorado?
Well, that's a good question. No, in this case, no. He just, as Penn, how could a sitting congressman not get on it? I would like to address one thing. You asked, why didn't Doug go to the assembly? 2 years ago, Doug almost was kept off the ballot by a young woman, Calandra Vargas, who nobody ever heard of. So even in his own district, I think he's not tremendously popular. One other quick thing I'd add, there's an interesting legal move, and that is that Owen Hill asked to intervene in this case because he didn't believe that the Secretary of State's office would defend the current state law well enough or strongly enough. So his side is asked to jump in case Wayne Williams' office doesn't put up a good enough fight on the state law side.
Well, there's 2 parts of this topic. I'll let you take your pick. We've been talking about Lamborn, but here comes Doug Robinson, which I think some people can safely argue is among the only moderate running in the GOP gubernatorial primary. We thought he was off the ballot. He's actually on the ballot. So there's that, and Lamborn essentially fighting for his political life. Take your pick.
Maybe both of them. I don't understand why this getting on the ballot thing is so difficult. The rules are laid out. You know you're going to run a campaign. It's not a surprise, especially for somebody like Lamborn, who's a career politician, it was his 6th term congressman. This is not new. I just don't understand why these guys can't get it together either way and decide a path and then go make it happen, because these are the rules. They're set out. Other people manage to get on the ballot without hiccups and controversy. So figure it out, guys. Come on. It's not a surprise.